So embarrassing. No one can hear me. We got to start all over again. Where were we? David, thank you. Thank you, friend. And we're live. Greetings, friends. Happy Sunday to you. On Sundays, we Sinister. Clayton Vino says, mute. Hopefully not anymore, Clayton. Greetings. And Jay Lash is here with the thumbs ups. I appreciate that, friend. Always know I'm going to have a decent stream if Jay Lash is here early with his thumbs ups. Thumbs ups to Jay Lash. Tonight on Sinister Sundays, we're going to be discussing the Cecil Hotel, which, as far as I know, is still open. It's still in operation. It's in downtown Los Angeles, and it was the site of many unexplained, coincidental incidents. I have to be careful how we say things because the algorithm is not kind to this channel. Speaking of unkind, guess who has two thumbs and their LA Noire stream got demonetized? This fella. And I didn't even say, I don't remember. I don't think I said anything bad. I don't recall anything egregious. I didn't even bother challenging it this time because, we got less than 100 views, and it just seems like they don't like LA Noire. But I'll keep going on it because I like the story, and I'm already halfway through. But we haven't even gotten to the seriously offensive parts. When he gets to the homicide desk, that's when it gets prurient, I guess. We're going to have to do some editing. Chrissy V is here. Greetings, Chrissy. We're going to talk about the Cecil Hotel tonight. The Cecil Hotel is interesting because it is obviously the inspiration for American Horror Story Hotel, the one starring Lady Gaga, even though the Cecil Hotel was not mentioned in the in that series. They instead in that season they mentioned the H.H. Holmes's hotel in Chicago. What's that about? At any rate, my slideshow tonight will have pictures of the Cecil Hotel and Richard Ramirez, who stayed there for a bit in the 60s or 70s. That's where Mama One. And it will be interspersed with pictures from American Horror Story Hotel and lots of pictures of Lady Gaga because I love her. I know. What does that say about me? Nothing good, I'm sure. Chrissy, I'm glad you're here tonight. You can help keep David in charge and in check. Okay. We have 6 viewers here. Appreciate you being here, friends. Let's get started. The Cecil Hotel is an affordable housing complex in downtown Los Angeles. It opened in December of 1924 as a luxury hotel, but declined during the Great Depression and subsequent decades. In 2011, the hotel was renamed Stay on Main. The 14th floor hotel has 700 guest rooms and a checkered history with many self-cancellations and accidental or unnatural deaths occurring there. Renovations started in 2017 and were halted by the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in the hotel's temporary closure. And in 2021, the Cecil Hotel was reinaugurated as an affordable housing complex. So it's been reopened. A 2023 LA Times article described and photographed the rundown conditions inside the hotel, which included black mold and vermin infestations, water leakages, graffiti, vandalism, and unsanitary communal amenities. Many of its low-income residents, including former Skid Row homeless, require ongoing medical, mental health, and substance abuse treatment. The Cecil was built in 1924 by 3 hoteliers, William Banks Hanner, Charles L. Dix, and Richard H. Shops, as a destination for business travelers and tourists. Designed by Loy Lester Smith in the Beaux-Arts or Art Deco style, I heard an interesting Art Deco quote. Um, Belle Epoque, which was the architectural style before Art Deco, Belle Epoque was designed by elves, and Art Deco was designed by dwarves, and it makes perfect sense if you see both those styles. Construction by W. Payton. The hotel cost $1.5 million to complete and boasted an opulent marble lobby with stained glass windows, potted palms, and alabaster statuary. The three hoteliers invested about $2.5 million in the enterprise, with the knowledge that several similar hotels had been established elsewhere downtown. But within 5 years of its opening, the United States sank into the Great Depression. Although the hotel flourished as a fashionable destination throughout the 1940s, the decades beyond saw the hotel decline as the nearby area known as Skid Row became increasingly populated with transients. As many as 10,000 homeless people lived within a 4-mile radius. Sounds like the preview of a ghost story. Reputation for violence, self-cancellation, and regular cancellation. And Wikipedia has a main article on that, which we'll read, but I'll read this little article paragraph here, and then if we have time we shall read the Vanity Fair article. In 1931, a guest, W.K. Norton, died in his room after taking poison capsules. Throughout the 1940s and 50s, more self-cancellations at the Cecil occurred. In 2008, 2,000 longtime residents referred to the Cecil as the cancellation, the self-cancellation, and it became a popular nickname in social media. Years later, I never heard it. The Cecil became a notorious rendezvous spot for adulterous couples, drug activity, and a common ground for bath ladies. In 1964, a retired telephone operator named Pigeon Goldie Osgood, that's a fantastic Batman villain nickname, who had been a well-known and well-liked long-term resident at the hotel, was found dead in her room. She had been, I think you can say, she was, I don't know how we can say that. She had been the word that rhymes with paper, and stuck with a pointy thing and hit with a hitty thing, and her room ransacked. Jacques B. Erlinger was charged with Osgood's cancellation because he was seen covered in blood roaming the streets close to the hotel, but was later cleared as a suspect. Her cancellation remains unsolved. Why was he covered in blood? In the 1980s, the hotel was the temporary residence of serial canceller Richard Ramirez, nicknamed the Night Stalker. Ramirez was a regular presence in the Skid Row area. According to a hotel clerk who had known him, Ramirez stayed at the Cecil for a few weeks. According to KPCC, he reportedly committed 14 cancellations while a resident there. In August of 1985, a group of LA residents spotted him in the street and prevented him from escaping until the police arrived to arrest him. In 1989, Ramirez was convicted of 13 cancellations and sentenced to death, although he would ultimately die of cancer in 2013. Another serial canceller, Austrian Jack Unterweger, stayed at the Cecil in 1991, possibly because he sought to copy Ramirez's crimes. While there, he neck massaged and canceled 3 bath ladies, crimes he was convicted of in Austria. I like that, neck massage. How about a nice shoulder and neck massage? I'm getting good at this algorithm. It'll be ironic if this remains okay for viewers and LA Noire, which is completely fictional, is somehow not okay for viewers. or for advertisers. In 2013, this is the one I've heard about, David. In 2013, the Cecil became the focus of renewed attention when surveillance footage of a young Canadian student, Eliza Lamb, behaving erratically in the hotel's elevator was disseminated widely in international media. The video depicts Lamb repeatedly pressing elevator buttons, walking in and out of the elevator, and possibly attempting to hide from someone. It was recorded shortly before her disappearance. After 19 days, her naked body was discovered in a water supply cistern on the hotel roof, following complaints from guests of odd-tasting water and low pressure. They were drinking her and showering in her, and washing their dishes in her. It was, how she got into the water tank has long remained a mystery. The floor Lamb stayed on was one of the floors that did not have security footage. Which left uncertainty as to whether her death was a homicide until Lamb's sister had revealed to detectives that Lamb had a history of not taking her medication. Among her possessions left at the hotel were several prescription medications, seemingly untouched. Lamb had previously been diagnosed with an extreme form of bipolar disorder and was known for displaying similar psychotic behavior in the past. Also claimed by her friends to act strange at times when her medications were not taken. Police ruled that her erratic behavior on the elevator was caused by a paranoid hallucination, and she climbed into the tank herself, believing she was in danger. Police then speculated that perhaps when she entered the tank the water level was high enough that she could have gotten herself out, but as guests and residents used the tap water, drank the tap water, the level could have decreased, leaving her trapped in the tank without a way to get out. They also speculate she undressed while in the tank, attempting to remove the clothing weighing her down. Was her clothing at the bottom of the tank? They don't say. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled her death accidental due to drowning, with bipolar disorder being a significant factor. And if we have time, we shall read the Vice article because that was a fascinating case. But we will move on to the lists of death and violence. At the Cecil Hotel. Sorry, Google froze for a second. Google Chrome. What's that about? Numerous incidents and deaths and violence have occurred at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. Its reputation is due to at least 16 sudden or unexplained deaths that have occurred in or around the hotel. First, in 1927, Percy Osmond Cook, which was a self-cancellation with a shooty bang to the head. Percy Osmond Cook stated in a letter addressed to the press that he was driven to self-cancellation because of his separation from his wife and family. He added that he deliberated for a week before he canceled himself. Next one is in 1931. W.K. Norton, age 46, possible self-cancellation. He ingested poison. Norton was found dead in his room after ingesting poison capsules. A week prior, he had checked into the Cecil under the name James Willis from Chicago. 1932, Benjamin Dodich, 25, self-cancellation, shooty bang to the head. A maid found Dodich dead from a self-inflicted shooty bang to the head. He did not leave a suicide note. Moving on to 1934, Sergeant Louis D. Borden, 53, self-cancellation. I guess you can say that. No, I don't know if you can say that. Something to the throat with a straight razor. Borden was found dead in his room at the Cecil. He He had touched his throat with a straight razor. Borden left several notes, one of which cited poor health as the reason for his self-cancellation. 1937, Grace E. Magro, 25, death. She jumped. Magro jumped from a ninth-story window. Her fall was broken by telephone wires which were wrapped around her body. She later died at the now-demolished Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. Police were unable to determine whether Magro's death was the result of an accident or self-cancellation or something else. She could have been pushed. 1938. We're not even out of the 30s yet. Roy Thompson, 35, self-cancellation, another jumper. Thompson jumped to his death from the window of his room after being a resident at the hotel for several weeks. His body was discovered atop a skylight of a next-door building by a hotel employee. Hey, what's down there? Looks like a body. We should investigate. One year later, in 1939, Irwin C. Neblett, 39, possible self-cancellation, ingested poison. Neblett was found dead in his room after ingesting poison. 1940, Dorothy Seeger, 45, self-cancellation, more poison. Seeger, who registered under the pseudonym Evelyn Brent, ingested poison while staying at the Cecil. Beforehand, Seeger sent her relatives a note indicating she was going to cancel herself. Dorothy Jean Purcell, 19, and oh, that's sad. She canceled her newborn son, and it was acquitted due to insanity, and she tossed him out the window. Wow. Purcell was sharing a room at the Cecil with her boyfriend. Unaware that she was pregnant, she went into labor. She later testified that she did not want to awaken her boyfriend, so she went to the bathroom where she gave birth. Thinking the baby was not alive, she threw him out the window, and he landed on the roof of an adjacent building. Purcell was charged with murder. 3 psychiatrists testified that she was mentally confused at the time of the incident. In January 1945, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Why aren't there more stories about this hotel? Why haven't I heard about it? Why haven't there been movies? Why haven't there been, why didn't Stephen King write a novel about this? Or anyone? Because this is fascinating. Why don't you write a novel, Superantonio? I just might. I'm thinking about it. Thinking about writing a Western. An alternate history. So it'd be a Japanese samurai Western, but in the West. It makes sense in my head, but it won't make sense here. Moving on to 1947, Robert Smith. Not the same Robert Smith as the lead singer of The Cure. 35, self-cancellation, jumper. Smith died after jumping from one of the Cecil's 7th floor windows. I think there are a lot of ghosts or just like voices in the walls telling you to jump. Jump. It might be a good idea. I shouldn't. This is an ASMR live stream. I shouldn't be telling you this. The algorithm doesn't like it. 1954, Helen Gurney, 55, self-cancellation, another jumper, 7th floor window, landed on top of the Cecil's marquee. 1 week prior, she had registered at the hotel under the name Margaret Brown. That's, it's like there's a pattern here. They register early and they hang out for like a week or for some time. I assume contemplating this act. But what if they're not? What if they're in there? What if they go there for another reason, and then the idea just starts occurring to them because so many of these incidents have happened before. And, the walls start whispering, what do you have to live for? Speaking of 1962, Julia Frances Moore, 50, another jumper, 8th floor, landed in a second-story interior light well. She did not leave a note. And in 1962, same year, Pauline Otten and George Giannini, 27 and 65. That's an odd age gap. Self-cancellation jumpers. Otten had an argument with her estranged husband, who had left the room prior to her self-cancellation by defenestration. Jumped out a window. Otten landed. She landed on a pedestrian, George Giannini, and both died instantly. So, police initially thought Otten and Giannini committed double self-cancellation. It was later determined that Giannini had his hands in his pockets at the time of his death and was still wearing shoes, which would not have been possible had he jumped. I knew of an accident where a driver lost control. This happened in the city I was living in at the time, Saint Denis, and near the office building where I was working by the hotel. But there was a parking garage, and on the 3rd floor, a driver lost control, had a stroke or a heart attack or something, and gunned it and drove off, through the barrier and fell on the street on somebody who was, a commuter on the way to work and, pancaked him. So it's basically the same thing. But I was always fascinated about that incident, about, you're just walking to work, thinking about getting a coffee, complaining probably that you hate your job and you don't want to be there. And what I wouldn't give to not be working today. And suddenly, you're not. Hopefully you're at St. Peter's the gates, and you're asking how I got here. I had so much left to do. Moving on to Jacques B. Erlinger and Pigeon Goldie Osgood. Pigeon Goldie Osgood was 65, and Jacques B. Erlinger was 29. We already talked about this. A hotel discovered Osgood dead in a room. She had been interfered with, poked with a Sharpie thing, and touched with a clubby thing with a melee weapon, and her room was ransacked. Osgood was well known around the area and had earned her nickname because she fed the birds in nearby Pershing Square. Pigeon Goldie. Near her body was the LA Dodgers cap she always wore and a paper sack full of birdseed. That's sad. Hours after her cancellation, Erlinger was seen walking through Pershing Square in blood-stained clothing. He was arrested and charged with Osgood's murder. Algorithm cancellation, but was later cleared of the crime. Her cancellation remains unsolved. In 1975, Allison Lowell, 23, another jumper. Still unidentified woman. It's Allison Lowell in quotes. A still unidentified woman jumped from her 12th floor window onto the Cecil's 2nd floor roof. She had registered at the hotel under the name Allison Lowell and was staying in room 327. Note to self, don't stay in room 327. She jumped from the 12th floor, but she was on the 3rd floor. No name, 1992, approximately 20 to 30, another jumper. The body of an African-American man was found in the alley behind the Cecil. Police said he had either fallen, jumped, or been pushed from the hotel's 15th floor. The 20 to 30-year-old male has never been identified. It's awful and horrible, but this is great. So many mysteries. And my favorite one, which we're going to talk about, hey, there's a Wikipedia article. Okay, we're going to read the Wikipedia article about Elisa Lam who was found in the water tank on the roof. And then in 2015, another jumper, no name, the body of a 20-year-old man was found outside the hotel. A spokesman for the LA County coroner said that the cancellation was believed to be self-cancellation by defenestration, jumping out a window. What's that about? Okay, let's read about Elisa Lam. On February 19th, 2013, the body of Canadian tourist Elisa Lam, born Lam Ho Yi, was recovered from a large cistern atop the Stay on Main Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. What happened to our slideshow? Loop. I have pictures of her. Security footage. 8 viewers in the chat. Thanks for being here, friends. Happy Sunday to you. Oh, we are investigating the Cecil Hotel. She was last seen alive on January 31st and was reported missing by her parents on February 8th. Her body was discovered by a hotel maintenance worker investigating complaints of flooding and low water pressure. Jimmy, I need you to go up on the roof and check the water cooler because everyone's complaining about low water pressure and flooding. See if there are any pigeons up there. That would have been an awkward call to management. Well, I have good news and bad news for you. There she is. Interest in Lam's disappearance increased on February 13th when the LAPD released security camera footage of her behaving erratically in a hotel elevator on the day she was last seen alive. The video went viral. I remember seeing that video. While an autopsy performed on February 21st was inconclusive in determining the manner of Lam's death, the LA County's coroner's office subsequently ruled the death by an accident, with bipolar disorder being a significant contributing factor. Guests at the Cecil sued the hotel good over the incident, and Lam's parents filed a separate suit later that year. Yeah, I'd sue if I drank dead lady water, dead Chinese Canadian water. It wasn't even Chinese American water. Some of the internet's interest noted that what were considered to be unusual similarities between Lam's death and the 2005 horror film Dark Water. What's that? The case has since been referenced in international popular culture and been the subject of several creative works. Okay, Dark Water, inspired by the short story Floating Water. I've seen this. Jennifer Connelly. It's a remake of a Japanese movie, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, she moves into Jennifer Connelly moves into this building, and she finds a ghost that drowned in the water tower above the apartment building. Here, I'll read the end of it because it's I like it. 3 weeks later, Kyle and Cecilia pick up the rest of her belongings in the old apartment. Dahlia's ghost braids Cecilia's hair in the elevator, telling her she will always be with her. Mama One and Papa One are here. Greetings, Mama One. I didn't know you. I bet you didn't know I could do a scary Vincent Price thriller evil laugh. Sadie's here too. Speaking of thriller, I saw a really cool Halloween display. I'm sure it was completely demonetized because it was through Michael Jackson's Thriller. So it was like Christmas lights, but Halloween lights, which apparently is a thing now. And they had like these LEDs and lasers, and they had a smoke machine, so you could so the lasers really popped, and they had like an LED pumpkin that was lip syncing Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and they did the whole song, and it was really cool. Dun 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 dun. It was really cool to watch. It was very creative, but it looked more Christmassy than Halloweeny, and it just made me want to see that house during Christmas time. At any rate, Mama One and Papa One were talking about the Cecil Hotel, which was in the 80s. As you know, your friend Richard Ramirez stayed there. I know he's not your friend. I'm being sarcastic and funny. Well, not funny, but it's funny to me. Interesting. Okay, background. Lam, the daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong, hey, stay here, stay up here, was a student at the University of British Columbia. I've been to Vancouver and British Columbia, although she was not registered at the beginning of 2013. In mid-2010, Lam began a blog under the name Ether Fields on Blogspot. Do you all remember Blogspot? Over the next 2 years, she posted pictures of models in fashionable clothing and accounts of her life, particularly her struggle with mental illness. In January 2012, a January 2012 blog post, Lam lamented that a relapse at the start of the current school term had forced her to drop several classes, leaving her feeling so utterly directionless and lost. She titled her post, "You're always haunted by the idea that you're wasting your life," after a quotation from novelist Chuck Palahniuk. He wrote Fight Club. She used that quote as an epigraph for her blog. Lam worried that her transcript would look suspicious with so many withdrawals, and that it would result in her being unable to continue her studies and attend a graduate school. I wonder what she was studying. A little over 2 years after Lam started blogging, she announced she would be abandoning her blog for another she had started on Tumblr, Nouvelle Nouveau, which means new en français. Its content mostly consisted of fashion photos, quotes, and a few posts in Lam's own words. The same quote, Palahniuk quotation was used as an epigraph. Lam had been diagnosed with both bipolar disorder and depression. She had been prescribed several medications for mental health issues. Mama One, this is the lady that was found in the cistern at the top of the Cecil Hotel, where everyone had been drinking. After a week, she had been in there for a week, and everyone had been drinking her dead lady water. She had been prescribed several medications, and she was only discovered because the guests were complaining about that the water had a funny taste. This water sure tastes funny. I can't put my finger on it. She had been prescribed several medications for mental health issues: Wellbutrin, lamotrigine, and quietapine, dexedrine, Spansul, and venlafaxine. According to her family, who reportedly kept her mental illness private. That's because they're Chinese. Lam had no history of self-cancellation ideations or attempts, although one report claimed she had previously gone missing for a brief period. Chinese, especially like China-born Chinese, they see mental health and depression as a weakness, something you should just snap out of. I know that's not progressive to say now, but, it's like, that's how they think. Lam had a history of not taking her bipolar medications. I'm fine. I don't need them. And as a result, on several occasions, suffered hallucinations that would cause her to hide under her bed for refuge. She was hospitalized at least for one of these episodes. For a trip to California, Lam traveled alone on Amtrak and intercity buses. She visited the San Diego Zoo and posted photos taken there on social media. And on January 26th, she arrived in Los Angeles and checked into the Cecil Hotel. Lam was initially assigned a shared room on the hotel's 5th floor. However, her roommates complained about what the hotel's lawyer would later describe as certain odd behavior, and Lam was moved to a room of her own. According to Amy Price, the manager of the Cecil Hotel, at the time of Lam's disappearance, Lam was leaving notes for her roommates that said, "Go home," and "Go away," and would lock the door and require a password for entry. What's the password? A few days before her disappearance, Lamb attended a live taping of Conan O'Brien in Burbank, but was escorted off the premises by security due to her disruptive behavior. Wow. Lamb contacted her parents in British Columbia daily while traveling up until the day she disappeared on January 31st, 2013, the day she was scheduled to check out of the Cecil and leave for Santa Cruz. Her parents did not hear from her and called the LAPD. Her family flew to Los Angeles to help with the search. Hotel staff who saw Lamb that day said she was alone. Outside the hotel, Katie Orphan, manager of the Last Bookstore, was the only person who recalled seeing her that day. She was outgoing, very lively, very friendly, while getting gifts to take home to her family, Orphan told CNN. She was talking about what book she was getting and whether or not it was going to be too heavy for her to carry around as she traveled. Police searched the hotel to the extent they legally could. They searched Lamb's rooms and had dogs, there's a dog right here, go through the building, including the rooftop, but the dogs were unsuccessful in detecting her scent. But we didn't search every room, Sergeant Rudy Lopez said later. We could only do that if we had probable cause to believe a crime had been committed. On February 6, a week after Lamb had last been seen, the LAPD decided more help was needed. Flyers with her image were posted in the neighborhood and online. It brought the case to the public's attention through the media. Moving on to the elevator video. On February 13th, after another week with no sign of Lamb, the LAPD released a video of the last known sighting of her taken in one of the Cecil's elevators by a video surveillance camera on January 31st. In approximately 2.5 minutes of footage, Lamb alone makes unusual moves and gestures. She appears to press every button on the elevator panel, peers into the hallway, and then leaves the elevator at one point while its doors remain open. When the doors fail to close after she returns, she leaves. The doors close later. And she was never seen again. Alive, that is. Legend says she haunts the hotel. And in the early hours of the night, when all is quiet, you can hear the elevator ding. No one comes out. But a ghostly voice whispers, "What's the password? What is the password?" I can't keep it up. I apologize. And I apologize to Eliza Lamb for making fun of her situation. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, algorithm. The video drew worldwide interest in the case due to Lamb's strange behavior and has been extensively analyzed and discussed. It was reposted widely, including on the Chinese video sharing site Youku, where it had accumulated 3 million views and 40,000 comments, wow, in the first 10 days. Many of the commenters found it unsettling to watch. Several theories emerged to explain her actions. One was that Lamb was trying to get the elevator car to move in order to escape from someone who was pursuing her. Others suggested that she might be under the influence of ecstasy or some other party drug, but none were detected in her body. When her bipolar disorder became known, the theory was that she was having a psychotic episode also emerged. Other viewers argued that the video had been tampered with before being made public. Besides the obscuring of the timestamp, they claimed parts had been slowed down and nearly a minute of footage had been removed. This could have been done to protect the identity of someone who otherwise would be in the video, either related or not to the disappearance. Also, it is a very well-known fact that sometimes ghosts and sometimes vampires do not show up on video. What's that about? Was her body drained of blood? That's not mentioned. Discovery of the body. During the search for Lamb, guests at the hotel began complaining about low water pressure. How am I supposed to take a shower with water pressure this low? And my hair smells funny. And it's not my shampoo. Some later claimed that their water was colored black and had an unusual taste. This water tastes funny. I can't put my finger on it. I've tasted this before. Cloudy says, howdy, y'all. Greetings, Cloudy. On the morning of February 19th, Santiago Lopez, a hotel maintenance worker, found Lamb's body in one of four 1,000-gallon tanks located on the roof, providing water to the guests, a kitchen, and a coffee shop. I'll have a double espresso, please. The double espresso today is very robust. Really enjoying it. I should get another one. Note to self, get a second double espresso. Cloudy says the Night Stalker home. Yes, indeed. Except we're talking about the lady that was found on the roof. Because I just like the idea of guests showering and drinking her dead lady water for 8 days. The LA County Coroner's Office issued a finding of accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a significant factor. The full coroner's report, released in June, stated that Lamb's body had been found naked. Clothing similar to what she was wearing in the elevator was floating in the water. Coated with a sand-like particulate. Her watch and room key were also found with her. Lamb's body was moderately decomposed and bloated. It was mostly greenish, with some marbling evident to the abdomen and skin separation evident. There was no evidence of physical trauma, bath lady interference, or self-cancellation. Toxicology tests showed traces consistent with prescription medication found among her belongings, plus non-prescription drugs such as Sinutab and ibuprofen. A very small quantity of alcohol was present, but no other recreational drugs. Investigators and experts have, however, noted that the concentration of prescription drugs in her system indicated that she was under-medicating or had stopped taking her medications recently. I don't need them anymore. I'm fine. O-Dog is here. Greetings, O-Dog. The investigation determined how Lamb died, but did not initially offer an explanation as to how she got into the tank in the first place. Doors and stairs that access the hotel's roof are locked, with only staff having the passcodes and keys, and any attempt to force them would supposedly have triggered an alarm. Yeah, how'd she get up there? The hotel's fire escape could have allowed her to bypass these security measures. Her scent trail was lost near a window that connected to it. Oh, okay. She took the fire escape. A video posted to the internet after Lamb's death showed the hotel's roof was easily accessible via the fire escape and that 2 of the lids of the water tanks were open. Apart from the question of how she got on the roof, others asked how she could have gotten into the tank by herself. All 4 tanks were 4 by 8 feet, cylinders propped up on concrete blocks. There was no fixed access to them, and hotel workers had to use a ladder to look in the water. They were protected by heavy lids that would have been difficult to replace from within. She was in there, and somebody put the lid on top. The hotel employee who found the body said that the lid was open at the time, removing the issue of how she could have closed the lid from inside. I have to stop speculating mid-sentence, mid-paragraph. Police dogs that searched through the hotel for Lamb, even on the roof, shortly after her disappearance was noted, did not find any trace of her. Proponents of the theory that the elevator video showed that she was under the influence of illicit drugs are not dissuaded by their absence from the toxicology screen, suggesting that they may have broken down during the period of time her body decomposed in the tank, or that she might have taken a rare cocktail of such drugs that a normal screen would not detect. The very low level of her prescription drugs in her system and the number of pills left in her prescription bottle suggest that, she was under medicating, might have had a psychotic episode. No sign of bath lady abuse. Her phone was not found either with her body or in her hotel room. No phone. Where's the phone? Where is the phone? Oh, interesting. After her death, her Tumblr blog was updated, presumably through Tumblr's queue option that allows posts to automatically publish themselves when the user is away. But her phone was not found, and whether the continued updates to her blog were facilitated by the theft of her phone, the work of a hacker, or through the queue is unknown, nor it is known whether the updates are related to her death. They're obviously related. It might be done by her ghost. There's a lot of ghosts haunting the Hotel Cecil. I think that's obvious by now. In September 2013, Lamb's parents filed a wrongful death suit claiming the hotel failed to inspect and seek out hazards in the hotel that presented an unreasonable risk of danger to Lamb and other guests, and sought unspecified damages and burial costs. The hotel argued that it could not have reasonably foreseen that Lamb might have entered the water tanks, and since it remained unknown how Lamb got into the water tank, no liability could be assigned for failing to prevent it. Oh, that's sad. In 2015, the suit was dismissed. I was hoping the family got a little money, and as a guest, I would want a lot of money. I don't care how tasty those double espressos were. The Lamb case has been used as inspiration for creative works. Watershed from Castle. Another ABC series, How to Get Away with Murder. In Hong Kong, where Lamb's family originated, filmmakers were also inspired by the case, and Nick Chung made his directorial debut in 2014 with Hungry Ghost Ritual, a horror thriller that includes a scene in which a ghost terrorizes a young woman in an elevator, shot to look like security camera footage similar to the footage of Lamb in the Hotel Cecil's elevator. Oh, here we go. In 2015, the media speculated that the fifth season of American Horror Story was inspired by Lamb's death. In late spring, creator Ryan Murphy said the next season would be set in a hotel in present-day Los Angeles. He was inspired, he said, by a surveillance video of a young woman who got into an elevator at a downtown hotel and was never seen again. Cloudy says, would you say she was the original Bath Lady? Actually, because this case was more than 100 years later, we have to say she was inspired by Bath Ladies. And that, my friends, is the legend of the Hotel Cecil. What's that about? Lady Bell had her baby, Papa once says, but she is extremely weak. We have her on medicine and antibiotics, and she has an infection. The foal as well. Papa once says he's going to be a good, strong Clydesdale for sure. Right now he is nursing with another horse as his mom can't nurse until her antibiotics are over. And Papa once says she is on a bunch of medicine. We do have her on steroids, but we did not start that till tonight. We didn't want to while she was in labor, as her heart rate was already high. You know a lot about horses, Papa One, you and Mama One. Maybe you should write a book or a blog or something, or put all this information online. Maybe in a YouTube video or something, or a series of YouTube videos, in addition to your cooking videos, Mama One. Just so everybody knows about it. Pass that information along. The LA Noir stream was demonetized or is available for limited viewers. What's that about? We will have a Grand Theft Monday stream that will probably be demonetized as well. That one, the first jewelry store robbery, which is really good, because it gains the attention of Trevor, one of my favorite characters. So Trevor's coming. Trevor is forthcoming. Not tomorrow, but soon. And then Wednesday, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Some movie, maybe a scary movie, because it's Halloween. Mama One says, that would be a good idea. By the way, I wish you could all have had dinner with us. Yeah, I wish you would have had dinner as well, Mama One, because I had a cheese sandwich and an empanada, David. It was a homemade empanada. I believe it was chicken. It's from a neighbor. And what else did I have? I had the other half of the apple cinnamon roll. Yeah, and that was it. Cloudy says, I want to watch American Horror Story, but I don't know where to start. Start at the beginning. Season 1, Murder House, Cancellation House. They're all good to varying degrees, but like 1 through 5, the series with the seasons with Jessica Lange are the best. But yeah, it's like first season is set is a haunted house. Second season is a haunted asylum, but it has UFOs. It gets a little sci-fi. Third season Witches. David, or is that the Freak Show Carnival? I think the third season is the Carnival Freak Show. Fourth season is Witches. Fifth season, Hotel with Lady Gaga, and that's the one we were showing live stream. We were showing on the slideshow tonight. Mom once says, it was a wonderful raccoon stew, potatoes, carrots, lima beans, and cornbread. We cooked it in a cast iron pot over a fire in honor of the old days. Cast iron tastes best. Arthur really enjoys shooting cast iron frying pans. David, I miss doing that. Spent all day catching up and finally progressing further with LA Noire. Spent all weekend actually. It didn't take that long actually. It took 2 days. And now we were 2 missions ahead, deep in homicide. It's interesting that homicide should be the last desk that Cole does. But I believe Vice is the last desk. But you would think that homicide is the top of the queue as far as police work goes. Also, there's a transition when he starts homicide from traffic. It says 6 months later because he was moved to burglary and breaking and entering or something like that. And we don't see any of that. It's like Captain Donnelly references, you did such a good job at burglary that the powers of B have decided that you can join the Holy Crusade at homicide, or. Cloudy says, Super Antonio, you could talk about the true story of Travis Walton on Wednesday. I'm going to look him up as I complain about, well, not complain, as I comment on LA Noire. So I'm thinking that the devs left that little hint as a DLC that they never developed. Cole at, Cole's burglary days. Because that would have been that would have been an excellent DLC. Travis. Who's Travis Walton when he's at home? Oh, interesting. The alleged alien abduction of an American forestry worker in 1975 at the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Heber, Arizona. Widely regarded as a hoax, Cloudy, even by believers of UFOs and alien abductions. What's that about? Mom once says, I'm trying to convince Papa One to do a YouTube channel dedicated to horses and saddles and such. Plus, he could upload tapes of his dad. Yeah, you don't have to be on camera. You could, you can just talk, or, do voiceovers. I used to do voiceovers. Or you could just write it out and just have AI do it. An AI voice, if you don't like your voice. There are free programs. Just Google AI voiceover. You just enter text and it'll And you can pick the voice. It's not like Stephen Hawking's voice where AI sounds like this all the time. No, there's like inflections and tone. You can choose a male voice or a female voice. Papa One says, I always wanted to be a homicide detective. Would never want to be a narcotics detective. I don't like drug lords and dealers, but I could not constantly arrest people who are struggling with addiction. However, I will throw the book at a drug addict, but they will throw their book at a drug addict, but take their time taking down kingpins. Yeah, because it's bureaucratic and they're all about closing cases and, keeping their numbers up. It's just like sales. You should play LA Noire once Mama One is finished with it. I think you'd enjoy it. It's fun. And it's interesting. I'll talk about this more when we do the actual case, but there is a case that you have to choose the wrong criminal. I mean, you're given a choice between two criminals. One is obviously guilty. One is guilty, but maybe not of that crime. And you have to choose a second guy. And it's political. If you don't, you won't get 4 stars. And Captain Donnelly will be really mad at you. So it's not, it's like closing cases in LA Noire, and I assume in police work, is not always about finding the guilty party. It's about fitting someone who is guilty of something else. Cloudy says, Mama One, I haven't seen an Arthur Morgan AI voice. LOL. Papa One says, it isn't my voice. I'm kind of embarrassed about having a paralyzed arm, even though people tell me it's amazing to see me climb on a horse. Well, I understand. I can tell you from experience that it's embarrassing to be on camera, but you get over it. But it's something that you'll have to be comfortable about. You get comfortable about. And it's a learning curve like anything. That's one of the reasons why I left my early live streams up, so people can go back and see how awkward I was, and like getting used to being on camera and talking, and like you guys are old friends. Completely different learning curve. You know who took no learning curve to get on camera, because he acts exactly the same on camera and off camera, and technically I do too. Is this girl. And that, my friends, is about all I have for you tonight. But I encourage you to hang out for a bit. I have a little movie set up for you that you can watch and talk amongst yourselves. Shout out to the mods, Mama One and Papa One. Great talking to you tonight. David, of course, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, friend. And his lovely wife, Chrissy V. O-Dog, I know you're listening. Appreciate you. 13 viewers in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed our Sinister Sundays. On Sundays, we Sinister. Like and subscribe, and we shall see you soon on Wednesday. I'll have some videos up. Oh, I'm going to do Micah quotes next. Appreciate all of you, friends. Thanks for watching, and have a great week. See you soon.
It's okay. Shh, easy now. Stay calm. That's it, girl. Whoa! Easy, easy. Ain't giving up. Whoa, easy. Settle down. All over now, girl. You're okay, girl. You done good, girl. Won't take long. There's a girl. Wait, boy. Just let me get this off, boy. All right, girl. Yeah, good boy.